Hi there. This is a live prepper. And I see preppers. I don't see dead people. I don't see other people. I see preppers. Oh my goodness, and they're coming to get me. Oh, I'm just making fun of things. But the fact is, who's the craziest? Preppers or the average Joe or the average Jane or the ones that spends a small fortune on the fake nails, spends a small fortune on the hair coloring, spends a small fortune on the clothes, spends a small fortune on fancy cars or fancy this or fancy that, or spends a small fortune on a hobby they like. So who is the craziest? Just think about it. Is Preppers crazier than the average Joe or Jane? You know, I sit there and I think about that. I mean, sure. So, when I'm sizing people up all the time when I'm out. Can't help it. It's in my nature. I look at everybody. The average Joe, they frighten me. The average Jane, they frighten me. And even some of the preppers frighten me. And when I'm talking about some of the preppers, some of them who gets into their screens, who just way out there, who can be really very dangerous in their own right. They don't think twice about killing someone. They don't think twice about some of the other stuff. They're very left wing or very right wing. They can be very dangerous in their own situation. So yeah, those scare me. Those really do scare me in a situation if it does occur, because they're going to take care of themselves and they're going to take care of their clan. And if you're not part of it, you're gone. So if you're not useful, you're gone. But that is the same situation with average Joes and average Janes. Every day you hear about these people just murdering their entire families. Now, this has been going on since the beginning of the time. It's just now with the internet, with the communications, we are aware of this stuff a lot faster than we ever was. So, who is the craziest ones? Is it the preppers who sees gloom or doom, or just simply has learned to be a basic prepper who has learned to put up extra things on when it's on sale, learn to put up extra food, learn to live with the staples instead of all the fancy stuff, keeps everything within a budget basis for themselves? Are they really crazy? I mean, I like to buy 3 or 4 bottles of shampoo. 4 seems to be my thing. I like buying at least 4 bottles of shampoo when it's on sale. I like I make recycle my own soap. I go down to the Dollar Tree. I buy the dollar pack soaps. I refurbish them. I add some herbs and stuff into it. And I make my own soap with the ingredients I want to add into it. So I do that. So I make several bars of it up to do me for a while. I turn around, believe in recycling things, learning how to make things. I've recycled, made my knives. I've made, little fire things out of cardboard and tuna fish cans. I've done potato chip bags and showed you how you can cook with potato chip bags using hot water and one bag inside one and one in the other. I've learned about nature more. I've had to reteach myself. Now my next process is teaching myself how to trap, how to harvest the meat, how to prepare it, how to tan it, how to cure it, how to make things out of that is one of my objectives for me as a basis back to prepper. And I love my air conditioners. I love be able to go down to the store and get my drinks and go eat. I love all that. But do I have to have it? Of course not. But you've got the average Joe and the average Jane who likes that lifestyle, who enjoys that lifestyle. They might be a clubber. They might enjoy going out clubbing every night. They might enjoy going to the local bar and having a few beers every night with their buddies. They might be into playing pool. They might be into all this. But the question is, who is crazier? I mean, the average Joe and the average Jane thinks preppers are crazy. Preppers thinks the average Joe and the average Jane are crazy. So who is the craziest of the two? I mean, is there there is good points, and then there is bad points on both sides. The prepper situation depends on what type of prepper you are. If you're an urban prepper and you're used to living in an urban environment, and you've developed that type of taste for it. I mean, you've developed, if you're living in New York or Miami or something, and there is nothing but buildings upon buildings upon buildings, the knowledge of how to harvest herbs and stuff may not be in what you need to do. My son called himself a urban prepper. He lives off of what he finds in the towns and in the cities, and he knows where to go for the buildings and all this other stuff. But the drawback on some of that is you're limited on whatever space it is, and in the situation, if you do not have the knowledge of living off the land and stuff, that can also be a downfall. Then you got some of the bushcrafters who lives out in the wilderness and everything like that. But of course, if they go into an urban environment, they're not used to that. They're not used to living in those things. They may not necessarily know where places are. So there's a good and there's a bad point. Then you got the left wings ones and the right wings ones just really way out there. And then you've got the average Joes and the average Janes that belongs to some of these groups. They belong to the white racist groups. They belong to the black racist groups. They belong to this racist group. They belong to that group. And they feel, they belong to these areas. They belong to these clubs. I don't believe in belonging into those environments. I think they are demeaning. I think they make you very closed-minded in those situations. So even many of the prepper groups can make you very closed-minded. So I'm asking you, which one do you think is craziest? The preppers or the average Joe or the average Jane who goes for all this here? How are they going to survive in a situation if they've never ever cooked, if they don't know how to cook, if they don't know how to sew, if they don't know how to survive in a situation? So which one do you think is craziest? I mean, I think it's a balance. You can still have your life, but you can also be a basic back to prepper and learn how to continue to teach yourself and learn how to do these things. If you ever need these things, you may never, ever need them. You may never, ever need these talents. But knowing them can be a benefit. So I'm asking you, which one is the craziest? I mean, I see benefits on both in a way. I'm not into wearing the real long fake nails. I'm not into, I went through my teenage years. I went through all this other stuff. I went through all these other phases. I never care to be in any of the left wing or right wing groups. I still don't care to be in them. I think they can make you very close-minded in it, but being a prepper can also make you very close-minded. So I'm just asking you this basic question. Who's the crazier, preppers or the average Joe and Jane? So this live prep here, I want you to be safe, be happy. Bless you all.